morning and welcome. My name is Peter Tuddenham and I am from the College of Exploration in the United States and also from a small business called Co-Exploration in the United Kingdom. And with my US hat on, I've been involved in the ocean literacy work for the last 15 years. And now, as you know, we are seeing ocean literacy as a concept, as an idea, take hold in Europe. And I thought, as I've been involved in this for 15 years, that it would be an opportunity to explore with you what the next 15 years might look like. And at the end of this, to challenge you a little bit as well. So, some of you may have seen this guide, which is the United States Guide on Ocean Literacy, and it was designed, as I will explain in a minute, to bring ocean science into the science curriculum. Back before 2000, the National Geographic Society were concerned that geography was not being taught. And so they developed a path towards world literacy, a scope and sequence in geography. We then got involved, and I say we, the College of Exploration, because we were working with the National Geographic in the late 1990s. And we took that geography work and got ocean topics into geography, and we called it Oceans for Life. That then led to this work in 2002, 2003, 2004 to develop the guide on ocean literacy, the first version, which had a massive matrix in it, which linked the science of ocean, the ocean science principles and concepts that are listed in here, to the then existing US science standards. A number of people thought that what we were doing was a good idea, and so a number of others, communities followed on, and they developed a very similar pattern. This became a pattern, which is interesting, on how patterns take root in societies and in ideas. We followed on from the National Geographic to do the ocean, and then climate, which was largely led by the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, completed climate literacy. Then the National Science Foundation said, oh, the Earth scientists have never got together and talked about what's important. And so I got involved, and we got involved, the College of Exploration got involved and helped facilitate 700 scientists come together to talk about what is important for Earth science literacy. And then a region of the United States called the Great Lakes said, oh, we want to do that. So they then created Great Lakes literacy. By that, I'm encouraging you to think about regional seas literacy. Okay? And so we have all of these literacies floating around. And there's a lot of literacies. I wanted to highlight some of the principles of design for the past 15 years that I like to emphasize particularly. One is openness. We have to have total openness, total transparency to the whole process. A key principle. It has to be inclusive. We have to ensure that as many and all that want to join the conversation can be included in the discussion. We need flexibility. We need to be open to shifts and nuance. It has to be collaborative. We have to work on ways to be totally collaborative. Another term perhaps is participation. In the Sea Change project we're talking about participation and consultation. So that is another way of ensuring that everybody feels that they are involved. Systems approaches, bringing systems thinking into our discourse, into our language, into our conceptions. Sustainability over time. It's no good saying, oh, the money's run out, we can't do this anymore. The reason that we've continued this work is because of people like Diana and Eva and Craig and Sarah and Susan and on, who have committed, and of course Gail and people in this room who in the United States have committed themselves to moving this forward, irrespective of funding. All right, so it's irrespective of that. It's a personal embodiment and commitment to seeing this continue. Redundancy means it's good in any system. If something fails over there, then it'll work over here. We've developed a community of practice, and now this is wonderful that the community of practice is expanding into Europe. Shared ownership. No one owns this, and we all own it. That's a very important point. No one organization owns this idea. It's freely to be used to the benefit of all. We've involved scientists in this work, obviously, and so it's scientifically applicable. We've worked on ways to make it applicable locally and nationally, as you saw with the Great Lakes, and now, of course, it's being picked up in Europe, and used by anybody, essentially. And it has been used as a basis for government funding efforts in the United States with requirements to meet the ocean literacy principles. But it has been a singular discipline, oceans, and we've involved essentially up to this point education, science, and policy. How am I doing on time? Okay, 4 minutes. So what for the next 15 years? I think one of the things we heard yesterday is about now we're global, all right, in the sense that we've moved from the United States into Europe. Many of us went to Japan last year, where there is a similar ocean and aquatic literacy effort being led by Professor Tsuyoshi Sasaki. And there's an Asian Marine Educators Association formed. There's a group in Australia. So how do we build ocean literacy in Europe together, and how do we do that in the in the spirit of inclusion in a global conversation? It is not a small challenge. The other challenge, I think, is crucial. We heard Siggy talk about the maritime sector, the engagement with business. We need to be multi-sector, thank you, Anouk. So a multi-sector conversation, and that's another challenge because we have different languages. Not only do we have, 24 or 28 languages in Europe, but we have discipline languages. So this is getting complex. But I believe we need to see more action. So as I get older, I get more impatient for action, and I am not apologizing for that. And we are learning about how we need to impact behavior change through perhaps social marketing as an approach. Any other ideas? Has anything, I know it's early in the morning, but any other ideas? Contributions? All right, Gail.
One point that I would like to make in the context of the history of ocean literacy is that, especially in the U.S., it has been focused mainly on K through 12 education, and we really need to be thinking broader than that, and obviously the other stakeholders, but undergraduates and graduate students also need to be part of the conversation.
Absolutely. I suppose that another factor is all ages. I will say that version 2 of our guide does say for learners of all ages. And so this is the attempt to indeed make sure that we can do this in a K through, well, through all ages, basically. How do we develop an ocean literate society?
Sorry, Peter.
Yes, sir.
How about the general public? I mean, this seems to me to be focused on the education community.
It has been up to this point, and that's why I'm saying this. I mean, it needs that expansive thinking, and how do we do this for the general public? I mean, we're exploring that in Sea Change. And if we have 2 minutes, we can see our general public video, perhaps. But yes, general public, definitely.
The other one, Peter, is that I think you have to put this into the continued professional development parts of the professional bodies. So the people who are members of IRS, or mechanical engineers,
Right.
electrical engineers, anyone that's actually working in a marine environment needs to have ocean literacy as part of their curriculum.
Indeed.
You know, in how they develop through their career.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true, and we need to identify that specifically and explicitly in the career structures. And actually, we have done that a little bit for K through 12, is break down into sort of some defined steps through the curriculum, and maybe now we need to do some similar work with professional bodies to say what aspects of ocean literacy, if you like, are important. So.
Being cost effective, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And if we want to make a change of behavior,
Yeah.
just trying to find what sort of stakeholders have the power to change something.
The economic drivers or the political power, the cost, yes. I was going to type these in, but in my limited time, and I hope I can see Avi's writing these down, thank you. So now here's the challenge, which this is what I've been thinking about. This is where it's all words, isn't it? It's all words. We've got different languages, we have different meaning constructs, we have different cultures, we have different values. How do we wrestle with that? 2 minutes, okay. So, this is going to be the 2-minute flash through that'll be a bit mind-bending, but transliteracy, maybe, as an idea. Ocean transliteracy, is that perhaps an idea? Beyond literacy. Now, here's a really mind-bending idea, all right? This is a thought and design experiment, if you Google it, but what is beyond literacy? Is there some other idea that we can take in the next 15 years that is beyond literacy? New tools beyond words, beyond alphabets, new kinds of relations, perhaps. What about quantum ocean mechanics? Or ocean entanglement? Total transformation of our relation to the sea and our being with nature, one with nature. This is a bit early in the morning for this kind of thing, but I thought I would just throw a few new ideas out to wrestle with, because I don't want to see the next 15 years like the last 15 years. All right? We have to make a quantum shift, and we need to do it now. And we need to do it quickly, and we need to do it together. And if we don't, we know the problems we're going to be seeing. So that's my total kind of thing. And a quick few things. Quick plug. I'm getting a beeps. Stop. Okay, well, here you go. A few other ideas. And thank you very much. No, that's good.